As children adjust to school schedules for the first time in over a year, parents, you might be thinking about the return of stricter bedtimes and a more regular sleep schedule. This is a difficult but important tug of war with your kids, and here's why. New from the American Heart Association, between 1 and 6% of kids have obstructive sleep apnea, which leads to sleep disruptions and later in life, an increased risk for heart disease. Joining me now is Dr. Carissa Baker-Smith, American Heart Association volunteer expert. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So what is sleep apnea, and basically how do kids get it?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. Sleep apnea is basically an event where you have pauses in your breathing at night. So for kids, it's having two breaths that really aren't delivered effectively during sleep. You actually hear a noticeable pause in their breathing. Parents can report that. For adults, it can be as long as 10 seconds of no gas exchange while they're asleep. And as you mentioned, about 1 to 6% of kids have sleep apnea, or so we think, but certainly there are kids who are at greater risk for obstructive sleep apnea. And some of our kids who have certain facial features, as well as obesity, and we use that term in a medical way, meaning a weight for height that's in excess of where it should be. Those kids can also be at risk for greater risk for obstructive sleep apnea.
And how do you tell if your child really does have sleep problems?
Yeah, that's a really good question as well. I think having a high index of suspicion, so paying attention to not just what time your child goes to sleep, because that's sleep duration, but walking into the room, do you hear habitual snoring? So more than 3 nights per week, the child snores while they're sleeping. What about if you hear pauses in their breathing at night? So those can all be signs that a child has sleep apnea, and you want to have that conversation with their pediatrician and sometimes referral to a sleep specialist to have further evaluation. But I want to make one other point. Sometimes the manifestations of sleep apnea are what happens during the day. Children who have difficulty focusing, maybe they're not performing as well in school because the quality of their sleep is affected by the number of episodes where they're not able to have that proper gas exchange while they're sleeping. And so they're waking up at night. And so it's very disruptive sleep, and it's affecting their ability to perform and to stay focused the next day. So that can also be a sign.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point to make. And I'm wondering, what can parents do if they suspect, I think my child might have sleep apnea. Let's say they've made an appointment, but in the interim, if they're waiting for that appointment, waiting to see a sleep specialist, is there something they can do night to night?
Yeah. So really what the way that I got involved in asking these questions is really a comprehensive assessment of a child's total health. And so I mentioned that obesity can be a risk factor for obstructive sleep apnea. So parents really want to focus on their child's diet and exercise routine. Are they getting the quality foods that they need, not a lot of processed food, but more fruits and vegetables? Are they exercising for at least 5 hours a week, ideally? Those are all things that can be helpful because even if they do have enlarged tonsils or adenoids that are contributing to the presence of obstructive sleep apnea, obesity still is a major risk factor even after tonsils and adenoids are removed. So those are some things that parents can do in the interim. But if they suspect that their child has it, they really do want to seek the consultation with an expert. And sometimes that just means a child going in for an overnight sleep study to have that evaluation performed.
Okay, great information, Dr. Carissa Baker-Smith. Thanks so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.